Hi, welcome back to Crypto Vagabonds YouTube channel. In this channel, we talk about cryptocurrencies, geopolitics, macrofinance, and everything else that may affect the performance of your favorite crypto asset. If you do like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and also click the notification bell. Today, I have a few headlines to share with you guys, geopolitically and in terms of bank CBDC, so stick around as we go through those. As usual, we're going to begin with Bloomberg, and in Bloomberg we have the main headlines. Orban says Ukraine can't win war as he justifies veto on aid. This is an article where the Prime Minister of Hungary is veto some help to Ukraine and he justifies why. I'm not going to read the whole article. Basically what he says is there's no chance for Ukraine winning this war. Any further help to Ukraine is just only going to increase expenses and cause more debts. Also, he's not happy with some sanctioning that Ukraine has done, and he states that's pretty much clearly here. It is a question of principles. If a country like Ukraine would like to get your financial support, if you need our money, please respect us and don't sanction our companies. And he adds that he hopes the former US President Donald Trump will win election next year. Now, if you have been following the channel, you must have heard that I said if Donald Trump wins, the likelihood of the US continuing giving help or providing help to Ukraine is very slim, if any. So this is the first political leader of a country that is a member of NATO that openly rejects or begins to veto further help to Ukraine. I think that's just the beginning. There will be more of those things happening because this war in Ukraine is costing massively to the West, it's costing massively to the American people, and it's not really hurting Russia. And I'm going to show that to you guys. Economically, at least, it's not hurting Russia. You can see here Ukraine's Russian-occupied atomic reactor in new power outage. So what happened is Zaporizhzhia has one of the largest generators, nuclear generator for Ukraine, provides electricity to Ukraine, and Russia is trying to connect that reactor to the grid of Russia and is trying to cut the electricity for Ukraine. Now, once that happens, things are going to get even harder for Ukrainians. The reason why Russia has not been able to do that right now is because the generator needs to produce electricity and needs to have electricity flow out somewhere. If produce electricity and there's no outflow of that electricity or that power, it's going to overheat and it's going to have a possible nuclear accident. So the reactor needs a demand of electricity to continue flowing electricity, but it will be a matter of time before Russia connects that reactor to their own grid, having then a place where that energy can outflow and it will be cutting electricity for a large area of Ukraine. Furthermore, as I said to you, it has not hurt Russia economically. It's not the first time I showed this here, but you can see a graph that the export of oil for Russia is now at 5 million a day. I have made videos before where it was about 4 million, now it's 5 million per day. So economically speaking, this war is not really hurting Russia, but it's hurting the West and it's costing a lot. Now, just another example on how it's not really hurting Russia. Dubai's debt burden has seen a dropping sharply by S&P as the economy booms in Dubai. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article, but a great contribution to that boom on the economy is not just petrol, is the fact that a lot of Russians are moving to Dubai and buying real estate in Dubai. I happen to have friends in Dubai who are having problems with their rent because the rent is going up as the demand increases, as Russian start to flow out of the country and start to invest or buy real estate, have bank accounts, and reallocate themselves to Dubai. That increases the real estate in Dubai and it's helping Dubai to pay its debt. So this war, again, economically, in economical terms, is not hurting Russia in the same way that it's hurting the West. Let's talk a bit more. Since talking about the West, let's talk about the Euro. The Eurozone factories flounder with activity shrinking at the fastest pace since pandemic. So while Russia is pretty much breaking records on export of petrol, what's happening in Europe, the fastest shrinking on the industry since the pandemic. And this to me is a sign of an economical crisis just on the verge, just on the corner. Every day we see more and more signs of a possible recession, and we have seen the bank collapse in the US. I'm going to be making more videos because there's more banks on the list of collapse. Now let's go talk about cryptocurrencies. CBDCs are on the horizon, and this to me is great news for cryptocurrency. I don't believe CBDCs are good. I don't believe they'll be good for the people, but to me it's the best way to advertise Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, because the amount of outreach that the governments will be able to do with CBDC is massive. If you have any questions about what CBDCs are, what they represent, and how dangerous they are, or what the Federal Reserve, certain leaders are thinking about it, I'll be leaving a link above where you can see where the Federal Reserve members and Federal Reserve chairman are also having issues with CBDCs. And it's not just in America, it's not just Canada. You have a list here. Let's look at the graph. You can see here CBDC projects developed with R3Bit, IMB, and Ripple. So you can see here Switzerland and France, they're doing St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, Grenadines. And you can see more Singapore, Australia, Africa, Malaysia, Canada, United Kingdom, Singapore, and the list goes on and on. Japan, Nigeria, a lot of countries are pushing for CBDCs, and to me this is great news for cryptocurrencies. I don't think CBDCs are good, and I don't think they're going to be able to deliver what they're promising. I have made materials on the Academy about this. Central banks serving individuals, we have a good history of that. The Bank of England has tried to do it, and in 2016 the Bank of England gave it up because it could not compete with commercial banks. So CBDCs are pretty much central bank digital currencies, which means digital currencies issued directly from the central bank, and they neutralize or they eliminate the need for a commercial bank. The same way that you can have BTC on your phone and you do not need an exchange, you can have CBDC on your phone and not need a commercial bank. That will give a lot of power to central banks. And again, CBDCs are not cash. Augustine Carstens, which is the head of the BIS, states that very clearly. So to me, the more banks pushing CBDC, the better for cryptocurrencies, because people are going to start to see a real need and a real utility for things such as Bitcoin. And furthermore, on the regulation, Hong Kong opened crypto exchange access for retail users, but there is a catch. And what is the catch? Again, I'm not going to read the article. The catch is very simple. They want to use the same rules, the same regulation for other financial instruments, and they want to take that, copy and paste for crypto, and I don't think that is a good idea. The regulations are almost a century old, and they're not suitable for this new technology. It's like trying to regulate podcasts with regulation that were there for the radio. It's just not going to work. It's a new technology. It needs to be researched. It needs to be looked with different lenses. And you can see here, crypto regulators around the world should seek to achieve regulatory outcomes that are same as or consistent with those required in traditional financial markets. I don't agree with that. I think Elizabeth Warren was the first one to really outspeak about that and express that same rules should apply, and I don't agree with it because cryptocurrencies are different. Cryptocurrencies enable every individual that educates themselves to become their own bank, their own banker, and their own client. And the regulations where you delegate all of that to a third party point of failure are not suitable to the space. The space needs to be researched and look from a different perspective and needs time for maturation. And I think Andreas Antonopoulos gave a very good idea on how to regulate cryptocurrencies, how to look and how to interact with Bitcoin on the parliament in Canada. If you're curious to find out about that, I'll try to find a link and leave it on the description, where Andreas Antonopoulos speaks to the Congress, to the members of Congress in Canada, and gives his suggestions about Bitcoin and the regulation that should be taken. Now, a little bit more about cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin surpasses Solana. It's hard for me not to laugh when I hear this, that someone is celebrating Bitcoin surpassing Solana. But anyway, it is the headlines. And pretty much what it says is that the amount of transactions of ordinals on the Bitcoin blockchain has surpassed that of Solana. And why that's important? Number one, transactions on NFT does occur on the Ethereum blockchain. The second place used to be Solana. Right now, BTC has surpassed that. And I think the trend will continue. I think it'll be a matter of time before some really solid projects come to the Bitcoin network. Right now, it's a hype and it's mostly meme coins and a few other ordinals or NFTs. But the technology is available. Taproot has made that possible. And if you do not know what ordinals are, please use the link above where I explain what ordinals are. Pretty much the oversimplification is NFTs on the Bitcoin blockchain. And with this, we come to the end of the video. Now, my two questions to you are, what are your thoughts? Do you think the West is benefiting from the conflict in Ukraine in economical terms, or you think Russia is benefiting from it? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, my other question to you is, do you think that the same regulations that has been used for traditional financial instruments should be copy and paste and replicated to the cryptocurrency space? Please let me know in the comments below. Please do like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. See you in the next video. Thank you.